I found a door in my basement that wasn't on the blueprint, and it was locked from the outside. This happened to me 3 months ago. I still live here. I have to. My name is Jake, or that's what I'm calling myself for this. What I'm about to tell you is real. I have photos. I have recordings. I've shown them to exactly 3 people, and all 3 told me to burn the house down and walk away. I can't do that because I need you to understand something. The housing market right now is brutal. I saved for 8 years for a down payment. 8 years. Every dollar, every overtime shift, every skipped vacation. This house was my dream. Was. The house is a 1960s colonial. 2 stories, full basement, half-acre lot. The previous owner died. Estate sale. Price to move. The realtor was pushy. Really pushy. She kept saying, great bones and needs a little TLC. But nothing she said was technically a lie. I should have asked why it was listed for 60% below market value. I should have asked why the estate sale sold everything except what was in the basement. I should have asked a lot of things. Move-in day was a Saturday in August. Hot. The kind of heat that makes you dizzy. I was hauling boxes down to the basement, planning to use it as storage until I could afford to finish it. The basement was wrong. Not horror movie wrong. Just off. Concrete floors, exposed beams, the usual unfinished basement stuff. But it felt smaller than it should. I'd seen the blueprint during closing. The basement was supposed to span the entire footprint of the house, about 1,200 square feet. This felt like maybe 900. I told myself it was the water heater, the furnace, structural stuff, taking up space. I stacked my boxes against the far wall and went back upstairs. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of sounds or anything supernatural, because of math. The numbers wouldn't leave my head. I kept mentally measuring the basement, comparing it to the rooms above. The master bedroom was directly above the back section of the basement, about 15 feet by 18 feet, but the basement wall ended at least 10 feet short of where it should. There was space missing. Sunday morning, I went back down with a tape measure. I measured every wall, drew a sketch, compared it to the blueprint. 300 square feet of basement were unaccounted for. That's when I saw it. Behind the furnace, almost completely hidden, there was a seam in the concrete wall, painted the same gray as everything else. But when I ran my fingers along it, it moved, just slightly. It was a door, a concrete door, maybe 4 feet wide and 6 feet tall, set perfectly flush with the wall. No handle, no hinges visible from my side, just a small hole where a handle should be, like someone had removed it deliberately, and a deadbolt mounted on my side of the door, locked. Someone had locked this door from the outside, from the basement side, keep something in. I tried to open it. Obviously, I tried to open it. I unlocked the deadbolt. It was stiff, like it hadn't been turned in years. Then I tried to pry the door open with a crowbar. Nothing. It wouldn't budge. But when I put my ear against the concrete, I heard air moving. There was a space behind this door. A room with air circulation. I called a contractor buddy of mine, Mike. He came over that afternoon, took one look at the door and said, "That's a Cold War thing. Fallout shelter, probably. Lots of houses from the 60s have them." That made sense. That made perfect sense. "Why is it locked from the outside?" I asked. Mike shrugged. Maybe they didn't want kids playing in there. Probably just old storage now. "Want me to help you get it open?" We spent 2 hours on that door. Crowbars, hammers, everything. Finally, Mike suggested we drill out the lock mechanism on the door's interior side, wherever that was. Or, he said, there might be another entrance. These shelters usually had basement access and an exterior hatch for emergencies. We went outside, walked the perimeter of the house, and there it was, almost completely hidden by overgrown bushes at the back corner of the house. A steel hatch, rusted, covered in 15 years of leaves and dirt. It had a padlock on it, a new padlock. Mike saw it too. We both just stood there, staring. "Jake," he said quietly, "when did the owner die?" 4 months ago. This lock isn't 4 months old. It's barely 4 weeks old. We cut the lock. Mike wanted to call the police first, but I don't know. I just needed to know. This was my house, my property. The hatch opened with a scream of metal on metal. Concrete steps leading down into darkness. The smell hit us immediately. Stale air, mildew, and something else. Something chemical, like cleaning supplies mixed with copper. Mike went first with his flashlight. I followed. 12 steps down, then a short hallway, maybe 8 feet long, then the door we'd been trying to open from the other side. And at the end of that hallway, a room 10 feet by 10 feet. Concrete walls, floor, ceiling. One camping cot with a bare mattress. One folding chair. One bucket in the corner that I don't want to describe. And one wall covered in photographs. All of them were of my house, but not recent. These were old. Polaroids mostly, dated on the back. The earliest was from 1987, an exterior shot of my house. Nothing weird. But then, more photos. Different angles, different seasons. Someone had been photographing this house for decades. And they weren't just exterior shots. There were photos taken from inside the house, through windows, through doorways. Photos of the previous owner, the one who died, eating breakfast, watching TV, sleeping. Hundreds of photos, maybe thousands, all pinned to the wall with thumbtacks. Some had notes on them, dates, times. Tuesday, 3:47 a.m., subject asleep. Saturday, 6:22 p.m., subject in kitchen. Someone had been watching him. for years. But here's what made Mike call the police. At the bottom of the photo collage, recent ones, printed on regular photo paper, photos of the house during the estate sale, photos of me walking through during my showing, standing in the backyard during inspection, signing papers in the driveway on closing day. Someone had been in this room after the owner died, had been watching me. Mike and I ran up those stairs. He called 911 from his truck while I stood in my backyard, staring at that hatch. The police came. 4 units. They searched everything, took all the photos as evidence, documented the room. They found more. A sleeping bag behind the furnace in my basement. Fresh, recently used. Granola bar wrappers, water bottles, a phone charger. Someone had been living in my basement, coming and going through that exterior hatch, sleeping behind my furnace while I slept upstairs. The detective told me it was likely the previous owner's son. He'd been estranged from the family, had mental health issues, and they'd lost track of him years ago. They theorized he'd been living in that shelter room on and off for years, watching his father. And when his father died and I bought the house, he just kept coming back. They never found him. They dusted for prints, checked security footage from neighbors, put out a bulletin. Nothing. The detective suggested I change all the locks, install cameras, maybe stay somewhere else for a while. But like I said, I can't afford to walk away. I can't afford to move. I put everything into this house. So I sealed the exterior hatch, poured concrete into it, had the contractor buddy fill in the shelter room entrance with concrete blocks, installed cameras, changed every lock, put bars on the basement windows. I still live here, but sometimes I hear footsteps in the basement at 3:47 a.m. Sometimes I find things moved, small things. A coffee cup I left on the counter, now in the sink. A door I closed, now open an inch. And twice, I've woken up and found muddy footprints on my back porch that weren't there when I went to bed. I check the cameras obsessively. Nothing. They never show anything. But last week I found a new photo, slipped under my front door. It was me, sleeping in my bed, taken from the doorway of my bedroom, dated 3 days ago. I haven't called the police yet, because what are they going to do? They already searched. They already told me he's gone. And I think he knows I can't leave. I think he knows this is my house now. And I think he's just waiting. I'm telling you this as a warning. When you find your dream house, when the price seems too good to be true, maybe ask why. Maybe ask who lived there. Maybe, just maybe, walk away. I couldn't, and now I never will. If you're watching this from your bedroom right now, just do me a favor. Check your closet, check behind your door, and whatever you do, don't look at the photos on your phone's camera roll from while you were sleeping. You might not like what you find.